Hello and welcome to the fourth video in this series, all about the new effects which have landed in Fantasy Grounds VTT recently. And in this one we are going to be looking at targeting. So let's have a look at a new character. Vary has retired for the moment, and we're going to look at Hamish here. And we've already set up a little new effects here. So let's just first of all create effect. So we're just going to go add action, add effect, and we're just going to put in a new effect, advantage attack. Now, when we come to deciding where this effect must sit, obviously it's going to matter who has the advantage. If it's Hamish that has the advantage, then the target has to be self, because that's who's getting the advantage. If it's his target that's getting the advantage, then obviously we should be setting the targeting to targets. So these are the two simplest things. That if Hamish were to target the Goblin Warlord here and then apply this effect, then the Hobgoblin Warlord is the one that's getting this effect. And when it comes round to his turn, when he makes an attack, then he's going to get advantage on that attack. If we set this to self, take the effect away from the Goblin here and apply the effect to Hamish, then when Hamish makes the attack, then he is the one that's getting the advantage. So this is the first thing you've got to decide when you're deciding on targeting, is who's going to get the benefit from the effect. So let's put it back up to Hamish. So let's look at a different example now, and let's have a wee look at the weapon masteries, and the Vex mastery. So if we have a look at the player's handbook here, at the weapon mastery properties, if we look down at Vex, it says if you hit a creature with this weapon and deal damage, you have advantage on your next attack roll against the creature before the end of your next turn. So this means that you and only you are going to get this advantage. So obviously the advantage to the attack has to go on to Hamish, because he's the one that's going to get the advantage. So we would set the targeting to self in this case. That seems logical. So we've got the effect already here. So if we just put that in, and then Hamish makes an attack roll, and he's going to get advantage. However, if we make an attack roll against the Hobgoblin captain, he's also getting advantage. So Vex will only work against the creature against which you've already attacked. So setting it to self isn't appropriate in this case. So what we have to do is we need to target this effect to a specific target. So if we look at here, we've got two options here. We've got targets, self, and we've got self to targets. And essentially the difference between these two is that one goes from the actor who is making the attack or the whatever to the target, and the other one is the opposite way around. So if we set this one here, self to targets, and then we reapply this effect to the Hobgoblin Warrior, when we come down here and apply the effect, let's get rid of this one, we can see that the effect still goes on to Hamish, and it shows the targets here as the Hobgoblin Warrior. So this means that the effect here is being targeted at the Hobgoblin Warlord. So if we make our attack now against the Hobgoblin Warlord, we get advantage to the attack. But if we attack the Hobgoblin Captain, then we just make a normal attack. We don't get advantage. So because we've targeted this effect specifically at this one character. We can have a look at another example here. If we have a look at Angus, let's get rid of this one. If we look at Angus down here, he's got the hex spell. And the hex spell works in a very similar way, is that when you deal damage, you get an extra tag to the target whenever you hit it with an attack roll. So again, we want this to only affect a particular target. So we'll create our effect, and the effect is going to be damage 1d6 necrotic. It lasts for an hour. We don't need to worry about that, but we can put this in here for an hour. Obviously, the effect has got to sit on Angus because he's the one that's getting the extra damage. So we need to put this onto self. But we want to put this self to targets because it's only the target that we are actually interested in that's going to we're going to deal this extra damage to. So if we've already got the warlord targeted, we apply the effect, and again we can see that the effect has gone on to Agnes. It's gone on to Angus, and it's showing that the effect is self to targets. Of course, I didn't have a target selected before I did that, so let's do that now. Let's make it Angus's turn. We'll target that goblin. We'll take this off and we'll put this on. And now it's correctly showing that we're targeting the hobgoblin captain. So when Angus comes along and makes some damage to the captain, the extra d6 rolls and we get the extra damage. But if we do some damage to the warlord here, then we don't get the extra d6. So that's effect targeting self to targets. So the target or the effect goes on the self, it goes on the actor who's creating the effect or applying the effect, but the target of the effect is actually something else. So the other one that we have here is targets to self. And I don't have a specific example that I can show you for this one, so we'll just have to make it up. If we switch back to Hamish quickly, if we go to Hamish here and we do the targets to self in this one, let's pretend that for whatever reason Hamish has got some kind of ability that gives the creature disadvantage to attacking him. So we can create an effect of disattack. We can take this off. We'll make it Hamish's go. He's already got the hobgoblin warlord targeted, so we apply the effect, and this time you can see that the effect has gone on to the warlord because it's targets to self, and we can see if we open this up that the target is Hamish. So when Hamish makes an attack against this, or when the warlord makes an attack against Hamish, then he's going to get disadvantage on that attack. So you can try that out. The warlord's getting the disadvantage on attacking Hamish, but if he attacks Angus, then he attacks normally. So that's effect targeting in a nutshell. You've got these two options here. And what that does is it specifies the particular target for the effect. The damage or attack on their own without just self or targets will just apply to those targets or to self, but you can be more specific as to what the target is and narrow that target down to just a specific individual or number of individuals that are going to be affected by that. Okay, I think that's basically it for effect targeting. And so we'll just end this video here. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers for now.